It's round 6 of the Rugby Championships. It's Springboks versus the Pumas. It's the final. Los Pumas looking to get their first ever Rugby Championship trophy. And the Springboks only their 5th in all that history. Welcome back to the Rugby Oaks. My name is Matt. I'm here with the legend, Try-Time George. And today we're going to preview the match of the weekend. George, it's going to be a cracker in Mbombela.
I'm stressed. You can see my face. I just keep huffing and puffing. I'm so stressed, but it's good. That's what this game's all about. It's got to bring stress and joy to you. I cannot wait for this weekend. There's a lot happening. It's Irvin's record-breaking game. It's Nelspruit's going to be a nail-biter. It's just going to have everything, and it's basically, like you just said, it's a final. I can't wait. So excited.
It's a final. I'm not sure my heart can take any more finals. We could have wrapped it up last weekend, but as we've talked about this week already and has been all over the news, we didn't. Shock, horror, depression, but we are back with an opportunity to win it on home soil. You've just mentioned 128th cap for Irvin Etzebeth. Quite possibly the greatest player of all time. Definitely now the greatest Springbok of all time. Made his debut, George, in 2012. Before he'd made his Currie Cup debut, and he actually made his debut in, not this exact shirt, would be a couple of size too bigger, but I thought I'd put the throwback on for this episode. It's a little tighter than it used to be back in 2012, but Irvin has just been everything that represents Springbok rugby, coming in a time where we had so much hope. 2012, we were looking at kind of bouncing back from 2011, going towards the 2015 World Cup. That disappointment, the disappointment against Japan in that, the 57 nils of the world. But then World Cups, Rugby Championships, Lions Tours, another World Cup. He epitomizes what it is to be a Springbok.
Yeah.
His approach to the game is fantastic to watch, and quite, he might not be everyone's favorite player. They might have a Faf that they like. They might have a Cheslin that they like, but I guarantee it's everyone's second favorite player in South Africa.
He's also just Mr. Consistent. I think I can't count on even a finger if he's had a bad game for the Boks. He's always good when he's on the field. He is a wrecking ball. I was about to say he's a calm head. That's debatable.
He's become calmer in his old age.
His eyes haven't. If he stared at me the way he stared at that Aussie guy, was it a couple of years ago? I think I'd shit myself.
My knees would be flipping wobbling like this. Okay, yes sir. But that's part of it. He's an enforcer, but he's not just an enforcer. He's an incredible tactical player. It's been said before. This is nothing new. He's the perfect mix of our two greatest locks, which were Victor and Bucky's. He is. He runs that line out. He's a captain on the field, even when he's not wearing the captain's armband. He is a captain on the field. He's someone that you walk into that box setup. You look at some of the youngsters, Rowan Nakia, you look at Salman Rat, you look at Sash Zulu, coming into this box setup, and they get to experience the preparation, the dedication, and the love of the Springboks that someone like Irvin undoubtedly has. And it's only a benefit for those players going forward. And he's such a great representation of our country. He's not necessarily come from the wealthiest background or the best rugby school in the world, but he's fought his way with his sheer size and his sheer aggression and his sheer passion for the Boks into that lineup, and for the 128th time, breaking Victor Matfield's records, and aptly so. Victor Matfield, one of the greats of world rugby, and I cannot wait to hopefully, touch wood, have his hands on that trophy and cap off that cap with a victory.
Yeah, you can put some Brannis there in the trophy, but I don't want to talk too soon about it.
No, because
we're not going to talk.
Because let's just cover the mathematics. But before we do, there's a little bit of mathematics I want to talk to you guys about, all you people watching. Okay, thousands watching, thousands, hundreds commenting. But we need a couple of subscribes, please. Subscribes. We've actually got a little target for ourselves to hit 1,000 subs by the end of this month, and it's in the balance at the moment. Help us out. I think it's over there. Or it's over there. Click subscribe and join the Rugby Oaks community. We're lovely to watch every week. Look at our faces. Come and join us. But mathematically, Los Pumas have one opportunity to win. Okay, George? They've got to win with a bonus point and prevent us from receiving a bonus point. Now, the tries are slightly different to what they were in years gone by. So the try bonus point, you can only one team can win it, because you've got to score 3 more tries than the other team, and of course the losing bonus point is within 7. So odds are, if they score 3 tries more than us, they probably realistically gonna have that distance. But in every other mathematical situation, the Boks win the trophy. So Boks win, they win the trophy. Boks get a bonus point, they win the trophy. Boks lose but score 3 more tries than the RGs, getting 1 bonus point, they win the trophy. So it looks good, but we've been hurt before. We are in deepest, darkest northern South Africa, Mbombela. It's going to be a bloodbath. I think both teams are going to be absolutely ferocious. And let's have a look at the lineups. George, you covered the lineups earlier this week for the Springboks. Now the Pumas have been announced. So let's dive straight into it. Let's go a little compare. We're going to pop it up on the screen now. Let's compare the starting lineups. George, should we start right at the back? Let's start right at the back.
Let's do that.
Go on, Fussy Airlines, the Church of Afale Fussy, coming in for sermon against Carreras at 15. We know how good he is. He was on the bench last week, but came in and proved a point. Gets the start this weekend. There's actually quite a lot of changes in Los Pumas, injury and just tactically for the team. That's going to be an interesting battle. We didn't win any high balls, off our kicks, last week. So that's going to be a huge target in our game plan with a guy like Jaden Hendrickse starting, kicking the ball up, making it contestable for Fussy. With that size, it should be a really interesting battle.
And great hands.
Interesting battle, because Carreras can do the business at 15. Colby at 14 versus Rodrigo Iskro.
Rodrigo.
As much as Rodrigo is a good player, he's a classy player. We're learning a lot about these Argentines this year. You got Chesy Colby. Come on, he's going to probably take the kicking tee at some point as well. It's going to be pretty good. What do you think about that?
It's going to be pretty. I mean, Chesy, it's been thrown around there that Chesy is currently the best player in the world. I disagree. I think it's Peter Steph. But people are saying Chesy's the best player because he's so versatile as well. He can chuck a ball on a line-up, he can chuck it in a scrum.
He's certainly the best number 9 in the world. I mean, the number 14 in the world. Look, Chesy's gonna obviously he'll be opposite Thomas Albornozo. Excuse my, I'm not Argentinian, so excuse my pronunciation. But in that backline, Chesney is going to be a handful. It's going to be fantastic to see. In the centres, we're going back to Damon Ellen and Jesse Creel. We've got Chocobaras and Maroney, 12-13. Not a bad little... Chocobaras was great last week.
Yeah, he was good.
And Maroney is solid. So they're going to be pushing that ball wide. They're going to be trying to overlap our rush defence. So it's going to be interesting to see how quick those hands are, because they're hot potato in that Argentinian back line. And but you've got Damien, who's very attritional, very abrasive going forward, and Jesse Creel, who loves an intercept and loves to spread wide at 13. And I think with Damien there, maybe giving him a little bit more natural 12 support, Jesse will be able to just relax a little bit out and push on that defence. Kirtley Aronsa, we were probably a little harsh on him in our review last week. He wasn't, obviously the yellow card aside, he wasn't super effective.
Yeah. No, he wasn't. But I was thinking about it, and he got some opportunities, but he didn't get as many as he normally does. But I think when Marnie came on, he started swinging the ball a bit more, and the game changed a bit. But at that point, it was a bit too late, I suppose. But he's up against Mateo. And Mateo had a good game.
He had a great game last week. He had a great game. I mean, he's a fantastic little pocket rocket, isn't he? He's fantastic. I made an error earlier saying Albornoz, but Carrera, is going to be opposite Ches and Colby. So that'll be interesting to see how Colby can rein him in a little bit. The 10s, Albornoz, correct at 10 there. Was
Yeah, there he is.
fantastic last week. Missed some kicks.
Yeah.
Just like Marnie Lebok missed some kicks. One out on the line, one at the poles. But he's a hell of a 10.
Yeah, he's a very good 10. He's got some skills. He's not their normal, I suppose, normal starting 10, but neither is Gonzalo at 9 for the starting scrum half. But yeah, these guys have stepped up. They're playing, when you play the best in the world, you've got to step up. If you don't, you're going to get absolutely obliterated. So these guys, I'm very impressed with them. They've done a hell of a good job.
When did they play Ireland?
Oh, they've never played Ireland. What are you talking about?
You said the best in the world, George. Number 1 ranked. We won't mention that again. Sorry, that was too easy. Marnie Lebok and Jaden Hendricks. Look, it's clearly Russie's plan to give people a certain amount of game time, and I think this was planned ahead of time. I like the fact that he's backing Marnie Lebok. It's make or break now for him. Many people are burning his shirt, but I think, there's reason to love Marnie Lebok, particularly as a Stormers fan, and you just I hope for anyone in the box side to succeed, but I really hope for Marnie to succeed. And whether he kicks his kicks or not, just play a good game, and if he manages to secure his place in that end of year tour to get some more caps, great. And if he doesn't, at least set a couple of good games to send him off to the URC season. Jaden Hendricks. Sorry.
No, sorry, I was just going to say, it's been mentioned, and I'm not going to bang on about it too much, but it was this week as well, other people have been speaking up and saying, in 2007, you had Percy Montgomery kicking for poles, and you had Butch James, who wasn't the best, he kicked as well, but he was there, he was basically, I think Anyani Shimangi said, he was a flanker that could play fly off, and he just ran in and smoked people. Marnie Lebok is a classy ball distributor, and people come at us in the comments. Yes, sir. I mean, I'd like to see them go play 10. I know they're not professional rugby players, but he can distribute the hell out of that ball, and his tactical kicking was very good in the game. Like his from hand, not kicking for poles or kicking out. He missed one, but the rest of it was bloody brilliant. So let him do that and let someone else concentrate on the kicking. That's why you saw people like Jaden Hendricks and Chesney kicking at poles in practice. That's what it's all about. Anyway, that's me over now.
I think realistically, if you'd looked at the practice last week, you would have seen them practicing, or at least Hendricks practicing kicking as well, because you always have 3 or 4 players on a team practicing kicking. Whether it'll get to Jaden Hendricks or not, I highly doubt. Would it possibly go to Cheslin, I think, to take the pressure off? My concern and my 2 cents on the matter is you want to set up players to succeed. Okay? In every time you play the game. Right now, and possibly since the World Cup, Marnie Lebok he's got the yips. Rusty says he's kicking at a high rate of practice. On match day, you can't go from in front of the poles. He's got the yips. Okay, throughout sport, people get the yips. It happens. Penalties, whatever, penalty goals, whatever it is, and you just for some reason you're in your head. So we need to employ some sports psychologists, both at the Stormers and at the
Tom Dawson
Springboks,
Squibb. He's there.
To invest. Well, exactly. If we want to invest on this one, but set him up to succeed and don't put the pressure on him kicking. And that's what Russie's done, saying at the beginning of the match, you're not going to lose the game of kicks. So let's focus on your game, and we've got Andre Pollard to come off the bench. So let's see how he goes, and let's back our boykies, and let's go forward. Before we back our boykies anymore, George, come on, let's get a couple of subs. If you're still watching and you haven't subbed, and we've not convinced you to sub yet, please sub. Come on, guys. I'm stuck in a shed filming this. We're not in a studio. We're not making moolah out of this. We're doing it for the love of the booker. Hit that subscribe button and love the booker with us, okay?
Yeah. I'm in a garage. You're in a shed. I'm in a. It doesn't look like a garage, but it is a garage.
We've done some good effects on there, but seriously, guys, please hit that subscribe button if you like what we're doing. If you don't like what we're doing, hit us a comment and fuck off. Never mind. On to the backs. Look, I think Onto the forwards. The forwards last week they really stepped up. Look, at scrum time we decimated them and we didn't capitalize on that, and that's fair enough. But your 8 Oviedo I thought was very good. We've got a couple of changes with Gonzalez coming in as vice captain and at 6 in place of Pablo Matera, who was taken off injured but is still on the bench. Maybe that bomb squad effect that they're trying to nullify. And Grondano. Yeah, Gondaga at 7. Look, we've got the best back row possibly in the world, top 3 in the world now playing again. Visser, we've still got some question marks about some of his style of play for horses for courses. I don't have question marks in South Africa when he's playing, when he's grinding and he's smashing. We've got best player in the world, as you've mentioned already. We've got Peter Steph Toy at 7. We've got Siya Kolisi backing captain. Kwagga Kolisi, who's going to get his op afterwards and probably going to miss the end of year tour, but it's worth it for some silverware. He might be back in time. You never know. But I don't have any concerns there, George. Do you have any major concerns with that opposition?
Not at all. And that's no disrespect to Argentina, but no major concerns there. We've got, as you've said it, we've got pretty sweet back 3 there.
Yeah. The problem last week, the tactics that we got wrong with those players is the breakdown was a mess. We were rushing defense but not covering our breakdown. What you will get with Peter Steph and Sia, and allowing Jasper then to play his physical game with more clear outs, more kind of boshing runs, is that breakdown will have a little bit more structure to it, I think.
Yeah.
And that can only benefit us. Into the locks, we've got Thomas Lavanini and Pedro Rubilio, something or other. Please subscribe, send us to Argentina so we can learn how to say these names properly.
Yes.
Go on a couple of Spanish language courses. They speak Spanish in Argentina. But Lavanini at 5 is solid. He's always solid. He's a little bit of a short fuse, so it's
going to say he's a walking card.
And his role is going to be to get in Eben's face. That's going to be interesting to see. I mean, one-on-one fight, Eben wins that fight all day. But can he trigger Eben into doing something stupid? I don't think so. I think he's going to do something stupid. He, as you say, he's a walking yellow card. But Robilio was actually playing 5 last week. He's moved to 4. Yeah. In the changes there. From our side, obviously Eben, we've spoken about him, but Ron Nakia gets another shout at 5. Again, he's probably our 6th choice lock, let's be honest, with all the injuries we've got. But he stood up this year massively, and he's impressed. Last week was a tough game. Look, we can write that off as a bad day in the office, but I still think he's getting better with each game. And having Eben there will, again, allow him to maybe just focus on running that line out and hitting those tackles.
That's what he's very good at. He's a line-out general. Yeah. And
then we've got the same front row as last week for Argentina. Sclavi at 3, Montoya at 2, and Gallo at 1. Sclavi, probably the best of the bunch there with his role in France. Really, really good scrummager. Ox spoke about it before last week. Montoya, obviously very classy, number 2. Hits his line-outs. Great player. And Gallo, baby-faced Gallo. I'm not super convinced just yet. Because, let's be honest, the second choice front row, apart from Ox last week, bent them in half a couple times. And we should have capitalised on that massively throughout that game. Yeah. With the likes of France at 3 against Gallo, it's going to be a hell of a long day. It's going to be such a long day. Bongi is going to be hopefully control those lineouts better. But at set piece, I think that's a massive change for us.
Yeah, I think we will, like we did last week. Well, scrum-wise, yes. We will hopefully also dominate lineouts again. I say again. Dominate lineouts again for the first time in a while because we've been a bit rusty. But I think our forward pack beats their forward pack 10 times out of 10. Well, this forward pack I'm talking about, not last week's forward pack.
No, this one. It beats them.
This one. Every
all
time.
All day and twice on Sundays.
Yeah. And I'm not again. It sounds like I'm being a cocky South African supporter, but it's on paper and on performance. Technically, we should obliterate this pack.
In South Africa as well, we have that confidence. Helps. We've not lost it at Umobela, touch wood, and although it is the home of the Pumas, so they might find a little bit of home Mentality,
Away
taking
from
all those
home.
Pumas things there. But look, we have a better team this week. Last week it was a gamble. The gamble did not pay off. We've all agreed. We've
No.
all been over it this week. This week we are not gambling. You can say Mani Lebok, but I actually think that's not a gamble because you've got Andre
Not at all.
on the bench. The other way around might have been the gamble. Bomb squad. Look, Malcolm Marx, Gerard Steenekamp, Vincent Koch. That's second best front row in the world. So we'll continue the bending of the front rows in the second half versus Ruiz,
There you go.
Gales, Delgado. I just don't think they're anywhere near the strength of us in South Africa with the pressure of the crowd. The ref's going to be watching that scrum hard, not being influenced by the Spanish flair in the crowd.
Yeah.
Then Elric Lowe, Quagga Smith. So it's a 5-3 split.
Yeah.
Which
Which was
is not
not what I
which is
predicted.
no, not at all. And probably was something I wouldn't have thought. But Rassi likes a surprise. The last two games in South Africa, 5-3, proving he can do it. Against Molina and Matera. Molina, I've got no real worry about. Matera, we know
He's
the
good.
strengths he has. He's a very good player. He's very good over the ball. We've got Kobus Reiner, Andre Pollard, Lukanya They've got Velez, Sinti, and Malia. Again, I know Sinti started last week, and they are kind of trying to nullify the bomb squad effect. But Kobus coming on for 20-30 minutes, if anything, is going to structure that game a little bit more. Okay, because he's got that experience. So he can snipe around the edges, but he can also just slow it down and run that back line. Andre Pollard, those two have been around together for a long time. It's going to be really nice and fluid. And of course, Lukanya and I think he's playing Lukanya just to keep giving him game time. You cannot have him rot in the squad, like to a certain extent Jesse Kriel had to do for 4 years.
Yeah.
And it'll be quite interesting to see if they move things around. Maybe Colby at fullback, moving Pollard to 12, something like that. We thought this would all happen last week, but it didn't. So we don't know. Maybe even just taking Creel off and putting Creel and Daylinder off and putting Andre and Lukanya on. I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see what we do at the end of the towards the end of the match there, or towards the end of the second half. Tactically, George, where do we have to change? What do we have to get right in the next match? What's the most important thing?
And people are going to say, goal kicking. Shut up. It's not goal kicking. We just need to get the friggin' basics right. Because we looked like we couldn't secure a ruck. We looked like we couldn't get it. I said, no, it was only 1 or 2 lost lineouts. We just looked a bit iffy at lineouts. We just didn't look ourselves. So basics, get the basics right. We're going to smash them in the scrums. We'll maul them in the maul, hopefully. And that's all we need to do to win, because then the points will come by doing the basics.
You're exactly right. Let's get our set pieces right, and let's slow poison. Let's get back to slow poison. Nothing wrong with slow poison. Let's crunch them and rock them all first half, and slow poison is the second half. I think that breakdown is super important. We've got to get breakdown dominance, and we've got to secure our ball well. The kicking, look, we're going to get it right. I don't think it was that bad. We just maybe didn't get the rub of the drops of the kicking, as in the tactical kicking throughout the game.
Yeah.
But also, let's stop mucking around. We've got a game to win. We've got a championship to win. Let's stop mucking around. Last week, we had Ben Jason Dixon at scrum half. They scored a try off that. The week before, we had Chisholm Colby thrown to a line out. Look, I've got no problem on an attacking set to try something a bit differently, but let's not just do things for the sake of doing things.
Yeah.
That was an outrageous move that we got scored a try against. If we didn't get scored a try against, what would we have actually learned from it? Nothing.
Right?
Nothing. So Cheslin throwing in on a offensive thing, okay, that's cool, that's funny, whatever. Cheslin putting the ball under, okay, cool, that's fine. Let's not go overboard, especially on defensive scrums, okay?
This has to be treated like a final, so we need to play it like a final. So there's no offense to Tony Ball here, but I think we need to just rein it back in and go back to our good old-fashioned Bokke Muring. And
listen,
just muscle.
Tony can put his balls in the trophy once we win. Apart from that, there's no need for Tony Ball until we've got that trophy, okay?
We can work on that for the end of year tour. We've got some months, got a month or two to prep for that. Let's just freaking win this game and win the bloody championship. Come on, Iboga!
Let's do it. Let's do it. And you know what you should do? You should hit that subscribe button to follow on. We always have straight after the game, we try and get something up as quick as possible. Going into next week, we'll do a review and we'll start looking at Champions Cup and URC. So stick with us, stick around, drop us a comment, drop us a like. If you're on Instagram, SA Rugby Oak, George is at TryTime George. Join us, and we hope you enjoyed the content. Enjoy the game, enjoy Bok Friday, and we shall see you next time.